Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just KNICKIN Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, aka Queen, and as always, we have a lot to talk about. The Knicks have won. What is that? 4 in a row? I think it's about four in a row. A lot of things that we've been concerned about is looking better. The offense is it's not even humming at 100% in my opinion, but it looks really, really good. The rebounding is better. I think we've out rebounded teams every game since the Atlanta game, if I'm not mistaken. To the eye test, the defense, my eye test, I should say, the defense looks better. It's not reflected statistically yet, but it definitely looks better, though it is inconsistent. So we'll talk about all of that today. But the main thing I want to talk about is the identity of the Knicks. Like, I'm super interested in how the panel feels about the Knicks' new identity. How you guys feel about their new identity. Is it something you can rock with? Is it something that resonates with you? I'm super interested in it. I do think, our on-court identity is different, just in terms of how we do business, how we go about scoring, how we go about winning games. But I will still hold, to me anyway, that our DNA, that's cultural, and no matter what changes as far as our defense and offense, that's going to remain the same. But I'm definitely interested in what the rest of the panel and what you guys have to say about that. So without further ado, let's get to it. Jerrell, Die Giants podcast, Die Giants live podcast, and Geoff, the happily ever Klafter daily sports blog, and then Ajay, he's out of town, but he said he might grace us with his presence for a little bit. And anybody else who wants to hop on the panel, let me know. Salute to two Knicks chicks, Darlene Bryant, Kareem Grant, Double D, Coach, and everybody else. How you fellas doing?
I'm great, Steph. Glad to be here as always. Salute to Geoff. Salute to you, two Steps. Salute to the chat. Another Thursday, and the Knicks are winning, so this should be a better show than it was last week.
Yeah, it was like a little funeral. We was like a little memorial, sir. I've been to a few of them, and it started last Thursday. So, let's get right into it. What have you seen since we were last here? What have you seen for the Knicks? What stood out for you? Any concerns you still have? We'll start with you, Jerrell. Just your synopsis of this past week.
I agree with you with the defense. From the eye test, it does look a little better, but I don't expect us, statistically to have any changes. I haven't looked at the the team stats at all since our last show. I know one thing though, our offense is awesome, and we're not even clicking on all cylinders yet. I think this offense could be kind of scary. Like, I think, we could be a top offense in the league. We can be number one. I think we should be close now. Like I said, I haven't looked at the stats, but it seemed like we definitely have a top 5 offense right now.
Oh, for sure. I think it's 2.
Oh, we're actually
2 or 3. One.
Okay. Because to me, it seemed like we can score 120 points every night, almost like any given night. I expect that from our offense. And, the defense, like you said, it's getting better, but it's definitely not there yet. Like, I can't wait until Precious come back, and hopefully Mitch comes back even sooner. I heard that he was actually traveling with the team on the road trip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's not, even though I don't think that's because he's going to play or anything, but just to be with the team and, and he can actually see how all of the players are actually working together. I think that's good for Mitch. And just for him to be with the team in general while he's rehabbing. But yeah, my overall synopsis is that we're a good basketball team. Like, we always come up here and, scream 20 games, 20 games, 20 games. I know it's repetitive for each show, but we haven't gotten there yet. We're close, but even after the 20 games, the evaluation period still hasn't ended, and I think we have a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure. I was listening to, was it Legla? I was listening to somebody who said that the Knicks have a chance, now it's 15 games, to have one of the best offenses ever. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
We'll check back in game 72 or something like that.
I know, right? After 15 games, best offense ever. So he had to one up me. I ain't go that far, though. I'm saying
it might have been somebody else, but I definitely heard that. I've been listening to a lot of shows today. Okay. Geoff?
Well, first of all, salute to you. Salute to the chat. Man, that offense is impressive. 130 something points 2 weeks in a row. I don't think the Knicks have done that since like 1988. And I the last time we won 2 games in a row, we're giving up that points is even further back. I think that might have been in the 70s or something like that. So we're talking uncharted territory with this offense, boy. And the guy that I want to spotlight, and maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, is Josh Hart.
That's fine.
Josh Hart has been phenomenal. I think his offensive rating is like 137 points per 100 possessions, which is even higher than Karl Anthony Towns. And what's fascinating to me is he's shooting the best percentage in the league inside of the 3-point arc. He's not doing a terrible job from beyond the arc. I think he's at 35%, something like that, which is above his average. If he shoots 35% for the season, we good, we straight. But what he's doing inside the arc, and he's just the beneficiary of the talent around him. You can just see that defenses have so much to worry about. It's like, okay, we've got to let Josh Hart kill us. And that's what he's doing, but all the other options are worse. And so, like he's averaging like 7 assists a game. Like, I think for his career, he's like a 3 or 4 assists per game guy. It's really incredible. I mean, his numbers are up across the board by a significant margin anyway, but really just a testament to taking what the defense gives you and just doing Josh Hart things. I mean, I've really been impressed with him. And the other thing that I'm super impressed with is Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Like his ability to catch the ball at the top and drive to the basket and score. That's not something I mean, maybe I just didn't watch him enough, but I see him do that on the regular, and it's phenomenal. It is such a weapon for this offense, and it makes it so difficult for this team to guard. And then if you play off him, well, yeah, he's shooting 50% from 3 also. So, choose your poison there too. But to me, Towns on the offensive side of the ball is having an MVP season, and his rebounding numbers are through the roof too. I mean, he's been everything you could possibly have asked for and more in that trade. I didn't expect. I thought he would be good, but I didn't think he would be this good. And I think he can be even better. That's the crazy part. Like, I think they all can be better. And I think when some of these other parts from the bench start to come back, it's really scary what the potential of this team could be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And to piggyback off of you, his rim protection is not good, but he's been good in the other areas: pick and roll defense, one-on-one, post defense, help defense. He's been pretty good in those areas. And then of course rebounding, which is a part of defense. And you can see, the scheme mixing it up. Sometimes he drops, sometimes he shows. More active. Even when he drops, he's now halfway between his guy and the ball. So you can see that they're working with him, and he's trying. And the effort, the effort is there. He's like a movie right now. And I said it on the show today. I used to watch, obviously I watched the Knicks, but I used to love to watch Carmelo Anthony because he was just poetry in motion. I used to just love to watch him on the offensive end, and I'm getting that same vibe from Cat, and you know, and his finishing at the rim. Some people they look graceful going to the rim. Next thing you know, they put up a hard brick or something like that. But he's able to, even when he's out of position, put up a nice soft shot. And so, yeah, he's doing great. I want to highlight Brunson. Looks like he's getting back into his groove. Particularly last night. I thought he dominated the ball a bit too much, particularly in the third quarter. But in that first half, he was on a heater. So when somebody's on a heater, you just got to let them rock, and everybody else have to just wait for him to cool off, But then when he did in the third quarter, I thought he did a good job. Took a little bit, in my opinion, to just get back to our regular, offense, player movement, ball movement, and things of that sort. He still had 10 assists. The Knicks themselves had 30 assists, multiple 30 assist games. We could talk about Towns himself, but I do want to highlight what he's doing for our offense. Because of the way he plays, it allows us to play a different way. That key, you could just look. Sometimes I just look at the key itself, and it's just nobody's there. Nobody's there. And we're doing such a good job of taking advantage of it. OG, Mikal cutting, and Brunson seeing those guys. Brunson's passing. Something I thought he always had, because I saw a little glimpse of it when he played with FIBA, but just getting more of that. And he's gonna get to that point where he's just the maestro, where he pass, score, you don't know what he's gonna do. Every option is open to him. And you see a glimpse of it now, but I think he can do it at an even higher level, and I think he will over the course of the season. The footwork still doesn't seem as quick to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But he was still just as effective. So, any concern that this winning streak, does this take the gloss off that it's been against Brooklyn? It's been two against Brooklyn, Washington, Phoenix without KD and Bradley Beal. Does that give you pause? We'll start with you, Geoff.
I don't think it gives me pause because, look, you take care of business against the teams that you're supposed to beat, and you do it in an emphatic way. And, I think the last two games, especially, those were teams that we should have run out of the gym, and those were teams that we did run out of the gym. So from that perspective, I think, look, that's what good teams do. Now, that's one of the reasons why there's a ton of work still to be done, like beating up on Brooklyn and Phoenix, a shell of Phoenix, really, and Washington, who may be the worst team in the league right now. That's who's on the schedule. You can only win the games on your schedule, but it's not like we're beating Cleveland and Boston, and I think those things will come, but I'm not overly worried about it. But I definitely think that it's a good sign that we're taking care of business in these games, because that's all you can do, and I love the way that it looks. I mean, it's just, I don't know if the Knicks have ever played a more aesthetically pleasing brand of basketball than this group is doing right now. I mean, I think 30 assists per game is going to be the regular. It's the new norm, which is really crazy for this team, as and kind of antithetical to what we were when Jalen and Julius were here, because they both operated so effectively in isolation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I still don't think we're humming yet. Like, I think Mikal Bridges can have a bigger role in this offense, aside from the shooting, when the shooting comes along. I just still think there's more to be had from him. Mid-range, bringing the ball up, initiating the offense. I just think there's more, from Bridges. The good thing, though, is if Towns or Brunson ever has a bad game, and we've seen it already with Brunson, Mikal, we have enough to step up.
Right.
You know, last year we were banking on Josh Hart stepping up, and he did. You know, he was phenomenal in that Philly series. But you just kept wondering, or at least I did, how long can this last? You know, how long is like I have no doubt, you know, that you know OG and Mikal Bridges, you know, can step up multiple times. You know, no worries. You know, so yeah, that's been good. I do want to shout out campaign. You know,
Definitely.
the job that he's doing. I called him. Um, who was it? Divine on his show. Shop Powers was just talking about how everybody's eating and how what campaign is doing, and I say, yeah, that's Cam Chowder right there. You know, he just feeding everybody. You know, I like the way he pushes the ball. You know, he knows how to set up and run an offense. He gets guys, you know, decent shots. He's aggressive offensively. He ain't shy about putting it up now. So I just thought he was a good addition. And with Miles Bridges, Miles McBride out, and who was our leading scorer, campaign has just come in and just really, you know, filled in really nicely for him until he comes back. And I hope when Miles McBride comes back, he continues, because there's enough room on that bench for both of them. Yep. to you know, to score and be effective for us. And you know, OG Anunoby, like what he's doing now, we're so used to it. Like over the last like week or so, like we ain't even talking about him. It's like this is what he does. But he's been phenomenal. His hand-eye coordination is just off the chart. There was this loose ball, and it seemed like everybody was in the score. He came out dribbling, not picking it up, and just came out of a dribble. I said, how did he even get his hand? He's just been great. His offense has been better than expected. The assertiveness that we didn't see, or we saw in spurts last year, is just there every night. He's 3-level scorer. I guess the question I have for the panel is, do you think this is just a good stretch for him? Or do you think he's turned the corner offensively? We know what he can do defensively. Mm-hmm. And this is what we can expect. I mean, he's finishing at the rim, finishing in the mid-range on the pull-up, shooting the threes off the catch, ducking into the key, posting up, either on the box or in the key, posting up. Yeah. Do you think this is him now, or do you think this is just a good stretch? Jerrell, we'll start with you.
I think this is him. I think OG has found his perfect like landing spot. Like on any given night, he's like the 4th option on the team. I actually think that's pretty perfect for him.
Who's 3?
Bridges.
I don't know. I think he. I agree with you, but I think OG is making a case. But I think OG.
I get it. I understand. I'm just talking about like if I need a bucket, I don't know. I think Bridges is still the 3rd guy, but yeah, it could actually switch from team to team. It all depends on the matchups too. So it could go either or. But yeah, I think OG found his perfect spot, man. He's not like necessarily needed to score like 25 points a game. Mm-hmm. And like you said, he's always seemed like he's in the right spot. Like our offense seems like, I don't know, it almost seems like a little bit too perfect. And I don't think, you know, it's only been 15 games, and I'm never the type of person that like to jump out the window and be like, yeah, we about to be the best, you know, the best offense in NBA history, anything like that. But it's looking kind of scary. Like you said, like when you look at the paint, ain't nobody in it. Like everybody's just out there doing their own thing, and the ball is moving, 30 assists a game. Like you said, OG, I think he's himself. I think he's turned a corner. And I don't even think that was that much of a corner than he already had. I think it just looks different because of what is being asked of him, maybe. Like he's not, like say if OG has 12 points, those 12 points might be an impactful 12 points, but those, like, they don't run plays for him, it seems like he just finds the ball and he scores. I like that for him. I don't want plays like drawn up for OG and, you know, he has to make a basket. Like, I don't think he's still a bucket getter like that. I think as long as he's in the right spot, I think the type of offense that we have is perfect for him.
Yeah, you make a good point. He plays off of guys really well.
Right.
You know, but putting the ball in his hand and just asking him to consistently create shots is probably I don't think that's his game, but he's been perfect playing off of JB and Cat. Geoff, your thoughts on OG, if you feel like this is him going forward?
So you always ask the best questions, but when I think about your question, my thought process is this: what is he doing that's unsustainable moving forward?
Right.
In other words, if what he's doing seems like it's sustainable, then it's just not a flash in the pan. Right. If it was that he's shooting 80% on threes on 9 attempts per game or something like that, well, you say, yeah, nobody does that over the course of a season. There's no way he's going to be able to maintain that. But what I've seen from Anunoby this year is really, I think there was one sequence in the first quarter last night where he had back-to-back dunks. And you see that pretty consistently, of him getting to the rim and finishing strong. And then he has that corner three, which he's so good at. And he and Josh Hart really cut very well. And we've got guys who are looking and can get a guy on the move and get him the ball where he wants it. And so I see all of these things. And so that encourages me. And he's not like setting the world on fire. He's averaging 17 a game, which is awesome for him. But I say all that to say, I don't think it's unsustainable at all. I think he can definitely do that. And honestly, I think that where the offense can get even better is with Bridges. I don't think Bridges has really settled in to who he can be yet, especially from his three-point shooting. I think he's about 6 or 7 percentage points below his career average. So I think that hopefully we'll see that come up some. And then just, you know, and that way, when he gets better, then OG, just like Josh Hart, is the beneficiary of having a defense that can't concentrate on him, can't pay attention to him that much because they're so worried about, you know, Cat and Brunson being the first guard center tandem to be averaging over 25 a game since Shaq and Kobe.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. You make a good point. It is, what is he doing that's not sustainable? Now you could look at Josh Hart and be like that, and he's not even shooting otherworldly from the 3-point line. But for him, I think 36%, you're like, well, you know, can he keep that up? Let's see. You know, what he's doing from 2, I mean, I don't think, I don't know if that's sustainable, but at that level, but he's always been, you know, good from, from 2. Yeah. Anything else that that stood out this week?
No, not really. Not anything that we haven't already touched. Like Cat, I don't know. I hope a lot of people aren't still calling him soft and just a jump shooter. Like, I think the 15 games that I just saw out of Cat, I don't know, man. It's like something we've never seen before in the Knicks jersey. Not as somebody at that size. Very, very refreshing. Like he's a walking bucket.
Yeah. But he has a finesse game, but there's some toughness to him. It's not like, you know, if somebody brushes him, he's falling out of bounds. You know what I mean? Or, you know, he goes to the basket. If there's any contact, the ball is going over the rim, over the backboard. There's some strength. Now, he's not the strongest, beefy, back you down type of guy, but he has some strength to him. So yeah, I do think he's buried that moniker of being soft. I don't know. For me, it was, I never thought that anyway,
Me
But
either.
if you watched him, probably 5 games into the season, you kind of figured it out. Is there anything you would like to see him improve? I mean, we know his defense needs to improve. Well, his well, first of all, I don't. The rim protection is a wrap.
Yeah.
It's just not his. That's just not his game. The other parts of the defense, he's been doing good. I was watching. Um, I keep forgetting the is it Hoops Hand Theory? Hoops Hand
Hot
Theory?
hand, hot hand theory
Hot Hand Theory.
with Frank and
Um,
XJ.
yes, with Frank and XJ. I love that show. Shout out to them. And on the last episode, XJ went through Karl Anthony Towns, like breaking down the different parts of defense. And he was in the 70th percentile or above in every defensive metric except
Mm.
rim protection. Whether that was, post defense, whether that was pick and roll defense, whether that was help defense. He was in the 70th percentile or above for his position, and that was good to see because I said that. Well, I didn't say he was above, but I was pointing out that there's different parts to defense than just rim protection.
Right.
And it's good to see that that's being backed up statistically now. Defensive statistics are not as strong as offensive statistics, but still, in those other areas, he's doing well. And I think if we can ever get our wing defense together, the run protection would be, less of an issue. I did want to talk about Mikal Bridges last night. I felt like his closeout defense. I was like, come on, Mikal. He run into the guy running right, dribbling right past him. He closing out to the guy dribbling right. I said, nah, I know you did the closeout drills from high school all the way through to the NBA. There's a certain way you close out on a shooter with the ball. Let's just talk about him for a while. Not a lot, but maybe a lot. Thoughts from the fan base that, his shot is awkward. His defense is not good. We gave up too much for him. Just your thoughts on Mikal Bridges through 15 games, what you want to see going forward. And are you down on him? Jerrell, we'll start with you.
Well, in the beginning of the season, I was definitely big on Mikal Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I am a little disappointed in him, but I still think it's early. It can definitely come around. But yeah, he's definitely been disappointing. He's been disappointing on defense and offense. And I think is mostly his 3-point shot, like his twos and his mid-range game seems fine. That the dribbling seems fine. It seems like he knows the offense. It's not like he's just running around out there. I think his 3-point shot just isn't falling. But yeah, he's definitely been a little bit disappointing on defense. And I have no idea what that is. You're right about the closeouts. I did see that a couple times, but I don't really have an answer as to why. It's not like he's, lazy or a step slow, like he doesn't know what he's doing on defense. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think he'd be okay, though.
Yeah, I think so, too. Geoff?
He has a big adjustment to make it too. I mean, he's got a bunch of new teammates. He's trying to figure out his role. He's also having to guard the best guy on defense. So there are extenuating circumstances. I don't think he's played great, but I think sometimes there are reasons why he's not playing great, and hopefully he'll correct those things as he gets more familiar and comfortable with his teammates. I just don't feel like he's there yet maybe a little bit with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson because they played together in college, but I don't know that he's all the way there yet with OG and with Cat, and especially he and OG, they kind of have a lot of duplication as far as things that they do well. I mean, especially on the defensive side of the ball and the spots that they like to occupy on the floor on offense from the corner 3 perspective, because Bridges is not a really good above the break 3-point shooter. I don't think that's ever been a strong suit in his career. I think he's always been, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's always been much more of a guy who feasts in the corners. Right. You know, I'm not sure this is a guy who was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting early in his career. I haven't seen anything close to that in a Knick uniform. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if there are answers there or not. And that's a little bit concerning. You know, I think we gave up too much to get him, but you know, we paid an all-star price for a non-all-star. And that's, I guess, the way that I'll put it. But if you listen to Josh Hart, he says, we traded for 5 12th graders. So we got him for 5 12th graders. So I don't know, it depends on your perspective, I guess. But Hart seems to be confident that Bridges is going to figure it out and gel. And look, he's still figuring it out, and we're 9-6. That's a better place to be than not. So
yeah. I mean, I think the jury is still out as far as whether we gave up too much for him or not. I get you with the early returns though. it's not looking good. But I think overall the jury is out. I still have a lot of faith in Mikal Bridges. I just do. You know, on the offensive end and on the defensive end. You know, some things he needs to shore up. You know, that I think he can. I do wonder if I don't know if his confidence is shaken, but I do wonder if he's just a little less aggressive, or if the talk is kind of getting to him, or if he's pressing. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think before it's all said and done, he's going to be the X factor. I mean, if look at our offense right now, if Bridges starts shining, on both ends of the court, it's just a wrap. So struggling right now defensively, not seeing all of his offensive bag. I'm not sure if that's a scheme thing, if that's just him trying to find his way, I'm not sure what it is, but I just don't think we're getting our best out of him on the offensive end as well. But I'm not down on him at all. He's somebody you can put the ball in his hand and say, we need you to get us a bucket right here. We need you to create a shot for yourself. And he's definitely somebody who can do that. Let's talk a little bit about Sims. I do want to get into the identity stuff. I'm super interested in what you guys have to say about that. But let's talk about Sims. And how he's looked over, the past week. Do you notice a difference from the eye test? I know what the stats are saying, but what have you noticed, Jerrell? Geoff?
He's definitely been playing a little better, especially on defense. See him a little less lost. From the eye test, I think he is playing a little bit better, but he's still, his limitations are still his limitations. But yeah, give it up to Sims. He for the past couple weeks, I think he's been getting a little bit better on defense.
Darkosaurus _Rex said Sims was -7 with no blocks last night. Let's overreact. I mean, I don't think blocks are a big deal. Nobody on the Knicks had a block. I don't really see blocks as a good indicator of defense. He's not a shot blocker. Geoff?
I actually think he's done a better job of rebounding in traffic the last 4 or 5 games. Like early in the season, it felt like he had the fumbles,
right.
If the ball would be right there and he just wouldn't get it. And he's done a better job of that. He's doing a good job with his screen setting and rolling to the bucket. And he's had a couple of nice finishes. I'm not a huge Sims fan. I'm never probably going to be a huge Sims fan. But look, he's been playable. That's what I'll say. He's, which is not something I would have said before. So to me,
we were playing him, but he wasn't playable. But at least now he's playable.
I totally agree with you.
but I don't ever think he's going to. I mean, he was 58th pick in the draft for a reason. I mean, I said kind of the similar thing with Huckporty. You get these guys and they'll show flashes for a game, but and you need that over the course of a season. You need all 15 guys or 17 guys, whatever it is. But if you're talking about a guy that you're going to rely upon against a Boston or a Cleveland or a Minnesota or Denver, he's not that guy as far as I'm concerned. I'm biting my fingernails every minute he's on the floor against those teams.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely know the fan base is split on whether or not the rookies should play more. But kudos to Tom Thibodeau. He's been giving them spot minutes. Tyler Kolek has been in there in the rotation with Miles McBride out. Right after, I told you Thibodeau be listening to the show. Right after Jerrell said, "What's Matt Ryan doing? We got Pacome, Daddy." Next game, Pacome Daddy was in there, and Matt Ryan wasn't. There was a game when Huckporty gave us some. He played, I think, the entire fourth quarter or something like that, and he gave us some good minutes. It wasn't perfect, but it was, it was really good. But I like the way Tibbs is like sprinkles, like just sprinkles, and once Precious gets back and Mitch gets back and who else? Miles McBride, they'll be getting out the water, and then they'll do what they got to do over the summer, and they'll be better, they'll be better next year. Anything else on the rookies and how they're being played? You want to see them more, less? It's about right.
I'm actually completely shocked about Tibbs playing Pacome Daddy.
He heard you, Jerrell.
Right, a 19-year-old rookie, like that's not Tibbs' bag. But I'm glad he's giving them some burn, man. I really did not get the Matt Ryan minutes at all. I didn't know why he even had a Knicks jersey on when I was looking at him. I was like, for one, at first I was like, who the hell is that? Oh, that's Matt Ryan. Okay. I didn't know who that was at first because I seen him play before, but I don't know, his haircut was different or whatever. But I didn't even know that was him until I was like, oh yeah, that's Matt Ryan. But then as he was dribbling the ball and he was just running around, I was like, he's not really giving us anything, and the shot wasn't falling. And Matt Ryan is the type of player that if his shot is not falling, he's not going to really give you anything else. So I'm glad that he put him back on the bench, and Pacome Daddy is getting a little bit of burn, man. I like it. Tyler Kolek definitely has to still up his defense up, since we was talking about defense with the other players earlier. He still can't guard nobody. But offensively, I think he's actually special. Like he's very, very high IQ, obviously has a good jump shot. Just see the whole floor, and I think he's a gifted passer. So Tyler Kolek is probably going to get more minutes, even though his defense is lackluster. The type of offense that we have, I could definitely see him getting, burned in our system.
When everybody's back, I don't know where the minutes is going to come from.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I just mean like right now, like in the next few weeks or whatever. When everybody comes back, no, he won't be playing at all. I don't think. Nah.
Yeah. Mixed feelings, shout out to Sherman. Ariel Huckporty is a liability. Wow. On defense, if he's not playing from 5 feet, and I will see him send him to the G League. Well, he shouldn't be it. Well, why? That's where we need him to be, defending, unless, he's fine for what he is right now. Stacks, Mansadou, Kolek's offense is there. I mean, for the most part, there's times when, I think it was yesterday on offense, there was a few times when I'm not sure if it was a bad. Oh, he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to be perfect, but for the most part, I think he's been okay. I like the upside of both Huckporty. I like the upside of Daddy. I like the upside of Tyler Kolek as well. But we can fortify that bench with some vets.
Oh yeah.
I would be super happy.
Yeah, like once we're healthy, I think all of them should be in the G League.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think either one of them would get like consistent burn with a playoff team. You know, like they could get burned now, obviously, but once Deuce, Precious, and Mitch, and I don't think they're gonna play at all when those people come back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Building blocks, Daddy A, listen to Deuce, play hard defense with the time you have on the court, earns Tibbs' trust slowly. I think they'll be ready to go by year 3. I mean, that's what happened, that's what happened with McBride, you can argue that, they might be, maybe Daddy A is ahead of McBride just in terms of, when they first came to the team.
Daddy A, yeah, and plus he's a lot younger too. Like in 3 years, he's still only going to be 22 years old.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Back home, Daddy A is literally taller, much more athletic, a better defender, and so far a better shooter too. Come on, y'all, a better shooter than what? I mean, listen, I'm not. Maybe you talk. I'm not taking anything away from Daddy A. It's just that there's always growing pains with young guys. That's just. I don't care who it is. I don't care, even if they're a top 10 pick. There's always growing pains with rookies. That's just how it is.
Oh, he was talking about compared to Matt Ryan.
Oh, compared to Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Right. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. You completely right. Matt Ryan was not it.
Sims is only second in the league at rim protection. Sometimes they're like he just in the way, and he's like, oh, okay, all right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm playing with. I don't want to take anything away from Sims.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling tonight, Steph.
Yeah.
Let Sims get his love, man. I ain't gonna say nothing.
It just don't look. The stats say that, and you can't argue with the stats, but the eye test. Sims moves his feet well defensively on the perimeter.
He does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sims' game will never change. Okay.
It won't. It won't. Two things can be true at the same time. Like
Ariel literally lit that fire under him. Yeah, it could be.
Probably.
It could be.
You got somebody that could take some minutes from him.
Yeah. All right. Nick Yak, Sims is quicker and they don't attack the rim as much on him. Okay. Sims is always a good defender. He's everything Cat is not. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I heard Precious is practicing. Mitchell Robinson is traveling with the team.
And putting up shots.
Well.
Oh, I didn't know that. He's putting up shots.
That's what Coach Tibbs said.
Okay.
But he's not. He's still progressing. He's not full running and all that stuff yet. But he's putting up shots, is what they said.
Okay. All right.
I guess we need a new practice facility, so they're just getting him to put those bricks up so they can put them off to the
side. Yeah, to be honest, I kind of figured he was always going to be still putting shots up. Like he got a ankle injury, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's ahead of schedule, that would be great. He still has to work his way, into shape. I think, Mitch and Precious gives us much more versatility, right? It just goes without saying. Defensively, I think Precious can contribute offensively as well, right? So it just gives us much more. The bench is deeper, even if we're not scoring, if on that second, you just say Precious doesn't move into that starting lineup, which some thinks he should, but if he doesn't, that's a lot of defense on that second unit, and so even if they're not scoring, and I think they should with campaign, McBride, Precious, Mitch, they should be able to score. And even with Mitch, just the offensive, if he's the Mitch that we remember, just rebounding misses and second chance points. But the defense should be able to hold, right, until the starters get back in as well. And there'll probably be another starter running with them. That makes the second team really, really strong. You were going to say something, Jerrell?
I was going to ask you about the starter. Who do you think is the perfect starter with that 4 that's coming off the bench? Because, they're always going to be staggered.
I think either OG or Bridges, either one. I would like to see Bridges.
I think
because I just think it gives him space to kind of be more of who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me. What do you think, Geoff?
Yeah, I like Bridges in that role quite a bit. I just think he needs some touches as the top dog, and that's the easiest way to get those to him. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. But going back to the rookies for just a second, I find it intriguing. It really tells you what Coach Tibbs thinks about Deuce McBride, that it was Daddier who was getting the minutes in his absence more so than Kolek, which to me says that he definitely sees Deuce as a wing and not as a backup point guard. You see all of those minutes going to campaign. And I think that's very interesting. And shout out to Paycombe. I literally was not even on my radar, like not even on the Big O card. And here's a guy, every time he comes in, he plays solid D. He's made some shots. A couple of those in the Suns game looked like UFOs. I was a little bit concerned about, but I think overall, though, even in that game, he shot a decent percentage. So good on him. A young kid, getting an opportunity and making the most of it. I certainly anything he gave us is certainly gravy. I think he's given us a little bit of gravy, not a whole lot, like not a boat's worth or anything, but at least a little bit.
Little tablespoon. I mean, yeah. Lay on the top of them potatoes real quick. Yeah. He's done well though.
Yeah. I mean, I think, they'll be good for us. I'm super happy that the Knicks finally began to fill in the back half of that bench, the back part of the bench. And I get it, trying to get Brunson in the fold, different things we needed to do over the last few years instead of drafting talent. And we've been able to do that. So I'm super happy. Year 2, year 3, those guys can very well be in the rotation, and we have yet to see McCullough as well. The way the CBA is rounding up, having guys on, cheap talent, I guess you will. It bodes well for not even for the Knicks. I think that's just the way you're going to have to do business, going forward. And I like all 3 of them. And, hopefully we'll see McCullough in the summer league. What you going to say, Jerrell?
I was just going to say, for people who don't watch, a lot of people don't watch college basketball. Mm-hmm. For like Knicks fans, like if you haven't seen McCullough play, you're really going to, he seems like a Knick. Like he's just a longer Josh Hart. Like he's not gonna be shooting that many jump shots, but he's an animal. Like he'll be all over the court. Like Knicks fans are gonna love him once he gets healthy.
Yeah. Kerry Cox said he's going to Westchester. Yeah, I mean we could.
Yeah, you should.
We see him. And we can see them. We can see him play there. Because if I see him play on the Knicks, I'm concerned if it ain't garbage time. I'm a little concerned.
Right. Yeah, he's just not a long range shooter. He's just not a 3-point shooter. But other than that, like Knicks fans are gonna love him.
Well, what I remember about him is Kansas was one of the top 5 teams in the country when he was healthy. Yep. And when he went down with an injury, they went from a top 5 caliber team to not even a tournament team without him. So to me, at least, that speaks volumes about the impact that McCullough had on his college team. Whether that translates to the pros ranks is a different story altogether. But at least for, in college, he was definitely an impact player, especially on the defensive end.
Right. Matter of fact, out of all the rookies coming out of college, like say if he didn't get hurt, like he would be getting, I would expect him to be getting more minutes than any of the other rookies that we had.
Oh.
Like he got drafted late because he got hurt. Like he was a first round pick before that.
Wow. If you're a rookie in college, you want to play for the Knicks. This fan base loves rookies.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I'm waiting for McCullough, but I just know that he's good. Like I don't expect him to get any burn this year for the Knicks though.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Mez and the rest of the Knick fan base going to battle about why these rookies are not playing on this team that's shaping up to be a championship contending team, even if you don't think we're there yet. So if you're a rookie out there, cross your fingers and hope you get you get drafted by the Knicks, because you're going to get a lot of support from the fan base with calls for you to go into the game in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, probably. That's how much love this fan base has for their rookies. I think for me, and maybe it's just my age, I've seen so many rookies come and go and flame out, and some who do well, that I can't get excited until I actually see consistent production. Then I can get excited. I just can't get excited because somebody comes in the game and plays well for 5 minutes, or even if a rookie was to score 25 points. I've seen RJ Barrett as a rookie score 25 points, like have these inconsistent score, and
know what it is? Know what it is? You Tibbs, Steph. That's what that is. You Tibbs. You and Tibbs got a lot of for me type of energy. I get it.
Yeah. I know you're absolutely right, because I definitely agree with Tibbs when it comes to rookies. Earn your keep, sprinkle them in here and there, give them some time here and there. Don't count on them. But I'm not getting excited. I wasn't excited about McBride. Everybody was mixed. Oh my God, you see it, Steve? He was shooting 28% and he could not run a team. I'm not going to get excited because you were able to navigate a screen. You know what I mean? Like I'm not getting excited over that. But year 3 in the playoffs, when he entered the playoffs last year with just 5 minutes of no more than 5 minutes a game in the playoffs, and the way he performed, now I can get excited about Miles McBride. I remember this fan base over Ntilikina, Knox, Cleanthony early, I'm not wasting my excitement over these flashes, when you've played 5 NBA games. I'm just not. But once you stand, but I see the potential, and I acknowledge the potential. And if you play well, I acknowledge that you play well. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm not getting excited until you put it together consistently, like McBride has. Kudos to him. McBride was the bottom of the bunch, right? When you think about all of the young players we had, at the time, and he's a solid contributor. For us. So now I can get excited.
The only one left from that crew.
Yeah.
Well,
no. When
I would be, if Quickly was here, I would still be excited about Quick.
Now, I was about to say, how long we had Sims? What draft was Sims?
This is his 4th year.
Yeah, like Sims been on the team.
I shouldn't disrespect Sims. You're right.
Yeah. Sims is I think the lowest on the totem pole. Like, compared to what you was saying. But Deuce is definitely right above him, though. They were both drafted in the 2nd round. So, yeah.
Knicks 100. I love this fan base. It's just opposite opinions. Like, there's some people who cannot wait for Mitchell Robinson to return, and I want Mitchell Robinson to return. I don't want him to play full time with Cat at the center, but as a center. But I want him to return. So oh my God, he's with the team. He put up some shots, and then we got Knicks 100 GM. Once we move Mitch, I'm a pop up. That's too
like he hurt the team, right? Like he had cancer. He gonna pop a bottle.
This opposite ends of the spectrum, man.
Say that again, Jeff.
Did you see Parish Duggar's super chat? I think it was.
Oh
Parish.
no, I did not. Thank you. I did see it, but it ruled on. Shout out to Parish Duggar. The craziest thing is listening to fans yearning for Precious, who is horrible against good players. He was so bad in the playoffs when he was needed. Oh, Paris, relax. Relax. I mean, you all up on Sims, and Sims has been terrible for a very long time. You know?
I love the fan base.
Yeah, you know, Precious is gonna help us. Is he perfect? No. Is he better than Sims? It's not even a question that he's better than Sims. And okay, you could point to Sims' rim protection and second, you know, among centers and defensive field goal percentage. I'm talking about more than that. Just talking about multiple ways to contribute to a team. Okay, even if Precious is not the rim protector of Sims, the other things that he can do, like catch the ball, right, and hit a shot, kind of outweighs whatever negatives he has. So, listen, yes, I'm waiting for Precious to come back, and when Precious comes back, Sims is going to be out of the rotation. Or I would be shocked if he wasn't out of the rotation. I'll put it. You know, I'll put it that way. Precious is just more skilled than Sims. It's just, you know, it's just what it is, you know. You know, so we shall see. Did we miss anybody? We kind of seemed like we went through the roster. Did we miss anybody?
He says campaign. I think so. One thing I want to say about Mitch, though, because you know I've given Mitch a lot of grief on here. I just want to be fair to him when he comes back, because we don't know when he comes back, and then when he does come back, we don't know if he's really going to look like Mitchell Robinson yet. Like, you know, it might take a lot of time for Mitch to get in shape and look like himself. So, you know, as much as we need his skill set right now, I just don't want people, like, if he doesn't look like Mitch, I don't want people to try to get rid of Mitch just because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think what he does for us now with the players that we have now, Mitch is really needed. So yeah, it'd be a very, very good piece when he comes back. If he comes back like playing like himself.
And if he can play like himself and stay healthy for the rest of the season.
Correct.
There's a lot of ifs when it comes to Mitchell Robinson. So
especially in the playoffs, like, I don't care if he don't miss all of the season and just come back maybe the last 2 weeks just to, you know, get himself right with the system and everything. But he will be, because he'll be with the team. But yeah, we really would need Mitch in the playoffs.
Yeah. Dr. Saurus Rex, I would cut that in half. Mitch shouldn't play more than 28 minutes a game, no matter what. Coming back to, listen,
15 minutes.
15 to 18 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, maybe toward the playoffs if you want to bump it up a little bit. But no, I don't think he's never played more than 26, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just kind of bring him along slowly. Listen, when he comes back, if he can give us 10 minutes, that would help.
Especially playing like himself. Yeah, that'll help a lot. That'll help our defense a lot. Because, like, the type of offense that we have, we don't need our defense to be in the top 5 in order to win games, or especially a 7-game series. I want our defense to be as good as possible, but with the type of points that we putting up, if our defense is between like 10 and 15, we should be straight.
The way we played last night, I thought we might get away with 18. If we
like the way we play offense now, and we say like our offense isn't even all the way clicking yet. Yeah.
But you know, in the playoffs, you're gonna have to be able to get stops. And like I said earlier, wherever the Knicks finish defensively, they're going to step it up in the playoffs. Like I just believe that. And again, with McBride back, with Precious back, with Mitch back, I think the defense is going to be much, much better. This is just where we are right now. Right? Geoff, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it just gives us that versatility. Like I think that's exactly right. I don't think you need to expect Mitch to come in and assume a starter's role. I know there's a lot of people out there who want to see Cat at the 4. I think Cat is a bigger weapon at the 5. I just do. So from my perspective, I don't want to slide him to the 4. So to me, 35 minutes of Cat at the 5, whatever's left, you give to Robinson. And, if you need to play Precious as a backup 4, okay, I'm good with that for some minutes too. But you have different lineup combinations. You have different looks that you can give people if you need to get stops. We are a layup line, even against Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix hadn't scored 100 points in either of the 2 games before that one, and they lit up the scoreboard. I mean, not as big as we did, but it was like we have 0 rim protection at all. I mean, and Towns is not going to give you that. That's not who he is. But to have someone like Mitch that you can bring in for a few minutes as a deterrent is going to help. And I don't think that Precious is really a rim protector either, but he's a very good rebounder and he does some other things well. And, and he's a good defensive player who's very switchable, which seems to be a very big point of emphasis with most of the players that the Knicks get is guys that can play 1, 2, 3 positions and give Tom the flexibility to, on some nights you need a big man, some nights you don't. Like we didn't really need one the last couple nights. It didn't hurt us one bit to, there was, when you're playing the Nets who are playing Dorian Finney-Smith, who's 6'7" at the 5, because Nick Claxton's out in there. You don't need Karl Anthony Towns ate their lunch because they had nobody who could contend with them. So, everything's a trade-off.
Right.
You just have to keep that in mind.
Right. No doubt about it. And I was talking earlier about the fan base just being on opposite ends. So you guys are so funny. Kerry Cox, Cat is best at power forward. And JJ, are you not watching what Cat is doing at the 5? Listen, can Karl Anthony Towns play power forward? Yeah, he can play power forward. I mean, on the offensive end, I have concerns about him defending in space. Though he was out in space last night on 1 possession, and he did okay. Can he play the 4? Yeah, he can. But it's not just what Cat can do at the 4 to 5. It's what he's doing for the rest of the team. That's the most important thing. He can score 30 points at 4. I guess he can score 30 points at 4. But it's about what is he doing for the team when you put him not in the corner, not stuck down in the post or baseline extended, because you can't stretch there's only so far you can stretch the defense when you're in the corner, right? You're out of bounds. But you put him at the top of the key, that doesn't just open things up for Cat. That opens things up for our entire team. The Knicks offense is on a historic pace right now. They definitely one of the best offenses in the league this year. And there's some that's been talking about that. It's only 15 games. That maybe, historically it could be one of the best offenses. Now we've talked about this. That doesn't mean that you don't need to play defense. Nobody is saying that. But taking away Cat from that 5 position, it just closes the door on so much of our offense. Not even Cat. it just closes the door on the backdoor cuts. It closes the door on what we're seeing from OG, closes the door on the mid-range shot from Mikal Bridges. Then everything is easy. Phoenix cut the lead to 11. The Knicks had a layup line. I think it was 3-pointers. But the point is, it was nothing for them to score and get back into the game. So I'm not a proponent of Towns at the 4, only because I just think it shuts down an offense. But I'm a proponent of him playing some minutes at the 4. I'm a proponent of him playing some minutes with Mitchell Robinson, you know. But he himself, the Knicks and Cat are having so far historic seasons. So far,
Cat's been the best he's ever been in his career, and it's not particularly close. Like 15 games, a small sample size. Cat has been, I mean, he's just been phenomenal at the 5. I don't know why you want to. I don't know what makes us think that you shift him over to the 4 and it's going to be better than what we're seeing now. I find that hard to believe. It's possible, but I just find that hard to believe. And he's just such a weapon right now. Such a weapon.
Yeah, I think you move him to the 4 full time. The rest of the league is like, whoo, I don't know what they're doing over there, but thank you.
Right.
Yeah. It just changes the offense. It just changes things. All right. Let's move on to talking about the Knicks shift in identity. I know we had this discussion before the season, and I was like, I don't really see an identity shift because I was thinking more about the cultural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the Knicks are playing a different brand of basketball. Is it a brand of basketball that resonates with you, or are you feeling like I can't really relate to this team because I like that gritty defense, ripping down rebounds, second chance opportunities, banging in the post. What do you think the Knicks identity is now? And does it, whatever you think it is, does that resonate with you? We'll start with you, Geoff.
Well, as long as they're winning games, I don't really care what they're at. Like, play any way you want, just get the W. That's the only thing that I care about, when it boils it down to basics. I mean, I grew up a 90s Knicks guy, so like the defense of the Rileys and Van Gundys and, that's in my DNA a little bit. So it does kind of hurt my heart a little bit to see the Matador D on a regular basis. And what was frustrating even in the Phoenix game was I felt like in the second half, we just gave up offensive rebound after offensive rebound in that third quarter. When they cut it to 11, even when they missed, like there was no one. I was like, why can't we grab a rebound? What's going on? So from that standpoint, it's a little bit frustrating, but it's a different game than the 1990s. These guys can all shoot the lights out. Like, there's no lead that's safe in this league because you get a team that can hit 6 threes. If you hit 6 threes in a quarter, you go from down 15 to tied in the blink of an eye. And every team has the capability to do that to you on a given night. So when you have teams that can shoot the 3, you see it every time a defense is in rotation, regardless if it's the Knicks or Boston or Cleveland, whoever. If the defense gets a rotation, you're in trouble. I mean, you just are. I see it and that's what I look for. Okay, how much in rotation are we going to be? Because then that ball goes pop, 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 and you get a wide open 3. And these guys just like everybody shoots them, and they shoot them at a good percentage. So, it not to say that you can't play good defense anymore. You certainly can, but it's just a different game. And I think that this version of the Knicks is more modern than anyone that we've had, and I think that's pretty intentional. The hope is that the wing stoppers can actually start stopping some people. That I think if you can get, I think that's the game changer. I think if for this Knicks team to realize its true potential, they really are going to have to get to a point where Bridges and OG are just locking down that perimeter, so we're not having the issues of people just having a layup line into the paint. We haven't seen that thus far. That doesn't mean that it won't happen. I think it will. I mean, Thibodeau's teams typically improve defensively over the course of the season. So, give it some time. I think Josh Hart has been good on both ends of the floor. And again, you have two of our bigs who can help defensively in stints that haven't played a minute yet. And that's going to help too. I actually think Cam Payne has done a decent job on defense. I like his effort. I like the way that he attacks. He guards the point of attack pretty decently for us. He's been a great pickup. I've been really, I hide my eyes every time he shoots that three, and then I just listen to see if he made it. But I can't watch. I just can't. That shot hurts my eyes so bad. But he makes it, so kudos to him. I don't know how, but they've got to get better on the defensive end. That's all there is to it if they want to realize their potential.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think anybody, at least on this panel, is saying that the Knicks don't need to improve their defense. I'm just saying you don't need a top 5 defense when you have an offense as good as the Knicks. That's all. You can't be 30. You can't even be 22, in my opinion. And you're going to have to be 12 to 15, maybe 16, maybe. But I don't even think it's a problem. If Mitchell Robinson is healthy, if Precious stays with the team, because there's contractual issues there, as well. The Knicks are going to have to make a decision. They can't re-sign him in the offseason. If you keep him on the, I believe so. They don't have his birds right. They have his birds right. So you either trade him, or you just lose him in the off season. I think they can sign him again to another 1-year contract if I'm not mistaken, but they won't be able to sign him to a 3-year contract, similar to what happened with Hartenstein. Jerrell, just your thoughts on how the Knicks are playing, what you think their identity is, and does that resonate with you, or are you kind of missing?
Well, I agree a lot with Geoff. I'm not really missing anything. I grew up watching 90s Knicks basketball as well, but I can adjust just like the NBA has. Like, I watch a lot of basketball, and it's adjusted everywhere. It's adjusted in college. It's even adjusted in high school basketball. It's not the same game. Everybody can shoot usually now in every position, and shoot from very far out too. So our identity is obviously offense. It's not defense anymore, but I don't know. I definitely think our defense is definitely going to get better because of who our coach is. Like, us having a bottom tier defense with Tibbs as the coach doesn't really resonate. That doesn't resonate with me at all. Like, that doesn't sound like him, and I don't see him being happy coaching that way. I think he's pulling his hair out behind the scenes now with our defense, but as long as we keep, winning games and scoring points, obviously, we're in a good spot, but I know it's probably killing him inside behind the scenes. He's still mad at stuff. Tibbs sees all the flaws just like we see him. So I can't even imagine, how much he hates watching us play defense with people just skipping down the lane like that. So I don't know. Like you said, when Mitch comes back, it'll change a lot, just because of the type of player that he is. Even when Precious comes back, our defensive intensity will, especially around the rim, will beef up at least a little bit, even though he's not a rim protector. But our identity is obviously offense. Like, we're a very, very good offensive team. But yeah, I think it's not going to. I think it always will be offense, just with the type of players that we have. But I don't think we're going to be a bottom tier defense. Like we don't play defense at all. Like I don't see us being like the Pacers when everybody gets healthy. I don't think we're going to be like the number one offense, but have like a 27th defense. I don't see that for us. So I'm cool.
Yeah, yeah, and again, one player doesn't make your defense.
Nope.
And let's not and rim protection is not the only defensive metric. It's just not, you know. And the question, and I've asked this question before, other teams have won a championship without a rim protector at center. How did they construct their team? There's nothing that says you need a rim protector at center to win a championship. You need to have a solid defense. And I think the Knicks will have a solid defense.
Actually, I think more important than the rim protector is having the switchability. That's what makes Boston's defense so amazing. Like Boston is elite defensively because they can switch 1 through 5. It doesn't matter who, right. And that's the kind of versatility that you need. And so that's the challenge for New York is we have guy in Brunson who you can't really switch onto bigger players. You kind of have to hide him a little bit. And then, you know, you don't really want to be doing a ton of switching with Towns either, in my opinion. So, you know, that makes it a big challenge for us. And that's something moving forward that we're going to have to deal with. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't deal with it. I mean, I think you can construct a roster where, you know, you can mitigate those issues to the point where you can be certainly competitive. But, you know, I think switchability is much more important than rim protection. You know, and that's kind of not Tibbs' thought process. You know, he's always been the guy that we've got to have the rim protector. We're going to play a ton of drop coverage and all of those sorts of things. And I've actually agree with what Queen said. I kind of think Towns is kind of at his best when he's not playing drop. And he's, you know, I think when we've gone to that, I think we've gotten more steals. We've got more pressure and we've done better there. So I think it may just be a changing of how we play defense. And it's going to take some time for Tibbs to kind of figure out what the best formula is because it's a new group of players.
Yeah. And some of the players are going to have to execute better as well. Like Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I'm okay with the identity shift, or as I like to say, you know, the Knicks are playing a different brand of basketball. I think that toughness, that never give up, that we're going to play 48 minutes. I think that's, you know, part of the Knick identity as well. And, you know, I see that crystallizing, you know, particularly that mental toughness, particularly in Phoenix when we got down a few times, not got down, but they cut into the lead a few times. And the Knicks didn't break. You know, the Knicks didn't break, you know. They stood in there tough, came down, did what they did, you know. So that part is not going to change. I'm okay with the shift in the brand of basketball they're playing because in hindsight, how we were the top 5 team in offense, I don't think that was sustainable for winning the championship. Like I feel like that was just a manufactured offense, so to speak. You know, this volume game, these second chance points, when a team was just with poor spacing and inefficient shooters. You know, I think the Knicks were like 20th in true shooting percentage. And yeah, we got within one of the Eastern Conference Finals, but you know, we almost died doing it. You know, I mean, it took everything we had, you know, to do it. And I just think this formula of a free-flowing offense where teams have to choose their poison and they try to shut down one thing and that opens up, you know, something else. I think that's more sustainable on the offensive end. And, you know, defensively, we have to get better. No mistake about it. but you don't have to be top 5 in defense. And people are talking about points in the paint, and it's there's a trade-off, as Geoff said. There's nothing that says the team who wins the point in the paint battle wins the championship. There's different ways to win, and the Knicks have to find out their way to win. And they don't have to mirror Boston. We're not going to be, even if we are as good as them on offense, we're not going to be switchable because of Brunson and Towns. But we don't have to mirror them to beat them. We just have to be better at what we do than they are at what they do in a 7-game series. And we'll see. We're not there yet by any stretch. We're just not there yet.
The crazy thing about our offense is we're not among the top in the leagues in pace.
We're not.
Our pace is slow and our offense is elite. That is remarkable. And rather rare, I would think. I mean, this is a team that's designed to score in the half court in ways that are problematic for most of the league. Think about that. There are teams like the Pacers that go up and down the court and run a track meet. That's, the Knicks play slow and they still score a ton of points.
Yeah, I would like the Knicks to pick the pace up some. We have 14 points in transition in the first quarter. I mean, we can, I guess they feel like we can score anyway. Like teams that's really bogged down on the offensive end, you want those transition buckets because it's just easier. The defense is not set, but the Knicks are scoring easy. They scoring easy anyway in the in the half court. I do want to get to a few. I know, Jerrell, I just want you to these comments. I know you got to go. Let me see. Let's see. Coach, that's why you can't trade Mitch, because you are going to lose Precious anyway. Okay. Our identity is offense. That is not a winning formula. Oh, I think this offense is a winning formula. Again, we talked about this. Does our defense have to get better? It does. But this offense is a winning formula. This is not the 90s.
Right. Multiple offensive teams have won the championships, and recently too. So
Denver,
Golden State.
And Golden State was a good defensive team. They were good defensively as well. And I think the Knicks will be as well. What power forward can defend Cat straight up? Again, it's not about the fact that Cat won't be able to score. Well, anyway, all right. Who said change his offense? I don't get what's different. If you don't get what's different between Cat playing the 4 and playing the 5, I mean, will Cat be able to do the same thing he's doing now at the 4? Yeah, he can drive on whoever he's playing at the 4. He can shoot the 3 if he's playing the 4 position. He can post up smaller opponents at the 4. Again, it's not about what Cat can do. It's about what putting him out at that 3-point line does for our offense. It opens it up. I mean, I'm not sure how many times we're going to say it. Now, if Cat was playing with another center like him, then it doesn't even matter. It probably wouldn't even matter, But I think playing him with a center whose defender is going to be right in the middle of the key, because that center is not going to get a lot of respect, it does change things, I believe. Precious leveled up his 3-point shooting over the offseason, but he didn't get to show it fully yet. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Any last words for you, Jerrell? I know you have to.
No. Salute to the chat. Always a pleasure, Steph and Geoff. You're my guy. I'll see y'all next week. It'll be another week.
Next week's Thanksgiving. What are we doing next week? That's something we didn't.
Yeah, we probably have to go maybe late Tuesday after Jerrell show.
What's
Because
what's the Knicks schedule next? I don't know what they're playing.
the Knicks play Monday and well, they play Wednesday. I don't know if they play Monday. We could probably go Monday after Queen's Court. I mean, that would be a long day because Queen's Court ends at 9.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be back yet or not.
Right. Yeah, you did say that. Or we can go Tuesday after your show.
And we play on Friday.
We play that Monday?
No, the Monday after Thanksgiving? No.
No, next week. This coming Monday.
Yeah, we play the Nuggets on.
Also, we play Monday.
But let's. I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. I'm not going anywhere. So that Friday, we play the day after Thanksgiving, but we play at noon though. So I don't know what anybody's doing on Friday night. You know, might could do that maybe. It all depends.
Okay. All right. We'll discuss it in the chat.
If we can't get the other day, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, not Friday for me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But salute everybody. Everybody have a good night. I'll check out.
Have a good night, boss.
Peace.
Appreciate you. All right. I think that's all. Actually, that's all the questions I had, Geoff. Honestly, is there anything you want to talk about?
Well, that it's we got to just keep winning these games. I always look at how we perform on these long road trips. I say anytime the mark of a good team is you're on one of these long road trips. If you can play above 500 on the road for an extended period of time like this, that's usually a good indication that you're a really quality basketball team. So I'm winning against Phoenix, even depleted Phoenix is a good start. Utah's kind of been a house of horrors for us over the years. So, but that's a winnable game on Saturday. And then, I heard rumors that Luka might not play when we go to Dallas. So maybe that's another, another winnable game. And I actually think that Charlotte game is going to be really tough because I think that they're sneaky good. Like they're not like contender good, but with LaMelo Ball and what they have, if you're not on your A game, that's a team that can give you a problem. And so I kind of can see that happening, but I think the goal has to be for this trip, go 3-2, just kind of increase the record. And look, we're third in the East right now. That's a great place to be for a team that's still finding itself.
Yeah, no doubt about it. JJ said that Luka's ruled out at least a week. He won't be playing versus the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah, but Kyrie can beat us by himself. We've seen that before too.
Hey, sis.
Salute to two Knicks chicks for sure.
Two Knicks chicks, lady in the shaft. Appreciate you. Mitch is always at the top of the three-point line. He sets picks. He does. But Mitch at the three-point line and Cat at the three-point line is two different things when it comes to spacing. You
don't have to guard Mitch out there. He can go shoot it.
Yeah.
You can't. That's what makes Cat such a terror is he can put the ball on the deck and score. He can shoot it and with range, you can't. If you go all the way up on him, it opens up the lane for Josh Hart and to wreak havoc, and that's what he's done so far this year. So I just think that, I mean, he's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I can't understate how impressed I've been with Towns in a Knick uniform.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the defense is better. The rim protection won't ever be there. That's just not him. But the other aspects of his of the defense is there statistically. It's there. You know,
and don't ask him to do something that he can't do. Like I can't jump more than 2 inches off the ground. So if you're expecting me to jump up and grab the rim, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I don't have that kind of athleticism. So it doesn't, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment if you're expecting him to be something that he's not. Let's expect him to be the best at what he can do. And for right now, I think that we're getting a version that's pretty close to that. I mean, I'm real happy with the job that Towns has done. And I think that the team still has a lot of room to get better.
Offensively and defensively. I'm going to take this one last comment from Nick Yak, because he's I don't know who's the president, Geoff. I think you're going to have to share your seat. The point is, he doesn't, I guess he's saying clog nobody. It's not about what Mitch is doing when he goes out to the 3-point line. It's about what his man is doing. What is his defender doing? It's not about what Mitch is doing. What is his defender doing? His defender is not out there with him. So if his defender is not out there with him, then his defender is roaming, dropping, doing other things that make it more difficult for us to score. But I don't know how else to explain it. We just see that, we just see that differently. So yeah, I'm super excited about Cat. I'm super excited about this team. Like, I just feel like we have a formula that's sustainable and winnable, but where we can win at a high level. But the defense does have to.
And one more point.
Yes,
and
sure,
I don't
absolutely.
mean this in a disparaging way at all, but Dante DiVincenzo has had a really tough time adjusting in Minnesota. He's having a terrible season by all standards compared to what he's done in his career. So if you think that it's not tough to go to a new team and a new atmosphere and a new locker room, it just is. I mean, DiVincenzo is still a good basketball player. We saw what he could do last year. He's in a different role. He's with different teammates. He's not as comfortable. They're not getting him shots in his pocket like he's used to. All of these things are contributing to him having a down season. And the reason I bring that up is not to disparage him, but just to say that what we're seeing from Mikal Bridges is still pretty good, even though he's going through the same things in a lot of ways that DiVincenzo is. So I think that's another reason for optimism. So take that for what you will.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who are interested in, Cat's defense, you can look it up yourself, in terms of where he is statistically in rim protection, post defense, help defense. You can look those stats up yourself, or you can watch the latest episode of Hot Hand Theory, one of my favorite podcasts, and they talk about it. They talk about Cat's defense, right? So there's the eye test and there's the stats, like just like when it comes to Sim, like there's the eye test and there's the stats. And when it comes to Cat, there's the eye test and there's the stats. So, check that out. But at the end of the day, if the Knicks don't have a good defense, you're not going to tell me that it's because of Cat. Because New York knew what they were getting with Cat, and they felt just like you put Rudy Gobert behind him, they thought they would be able to put a defense in front of him, right? And if that doesn't come together, I don't think you could just sit here and say, oh, that's because of Cat. You know who Cat was. You have to construct a roster still that's a good enough defensive roster, right? So everybody's getting on Cat. The Knicks knew who he was. When it comes to rim protection, at least. They knew who he was, right? But they thought OG, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart would be enough, and Bridges, for one, he has to get better, and he will. Cat and Randall defense, the same thing. I would say that I think Randall is better in space when he wants to be. I think the issue with Randall was that he wasn't always committed on that end. With Cat, at least of late, I definitely see consistent effort. But there's just some possessions where he's just not good. He's just not good. And he plays a different, position. So yeah. Anyway, let me just give the last shout outs and any last words from Geoff, and we out of here. Knicks 100 at GM, appreciate you. Mike Boy, Kerry Cox, Cookies Lee. If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. Nick Yak, appreciate you. Knicks will be at 2025 and 26 champs. Anna Grill, appreciate you. East Blue Drew, 2 Knicks chicks. Who else? Sherman was in the house. Wiz. No, I don't think Wiz was in tonight.
Wiz was in the house.
Oh, okay.
He definitely was here.
Okay.
And then we said something mean about Deuce and he left.
And then he left. All right.
I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah. I know he was here earlier.
Yeah. Wiz, Sherwin, JJ, Nostalgic, Nick. I think I got most of the people. Those who are not in the chat, I appreciate you listening. The replay gang, I appreciate you. Keith Turner, DX Relish, man. The Sixers is limping along, man. And he
respect, man. Look, if you're gonna talk trash when your team's not playing well, I gotta respect it. I mean, it's one thing to talk trash when you're winning, but when you're losing and you're still doing it, that means he just bleeds 76er blue.
He does.
They've got blood all over the floor and in the ambulance right now. So
he came in, he said, "Go Sixers," and JJ said, "Stay strong, stay strong, my brother." It's rough over there, but stay strong. Oh God, appreciate DJ Relish stopping by. Double D Coach, of course, Darlene Bryant, Double D, Kareem Grant, appreciate you. Born Freedom. I'm not gonna get to everybody, but if I missed you, you know my condition. I appreciate you all. Geoff, any last words?
Yeah, I just want to say, whether you celebrate or you don't, happy Thanksgiving to everybody this week. If we don't have a show, blessings and peace to you and your household. Stay safe, eat good food, enjoy family, and be good and be kind to each other, because that's what, that and Knicks basketball is what this life is all about. So be kind to each other. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday and go Knicks.
Yeah, definitely go Knicks. Enjoy the holidays. And we'll figure out, when we'll be back, because Thanksgiving is Thursday, so we definitely won't be on that day. But we'll figure it out. I'm sure all of you are subscribed. I'm sure all of you have your notification on. So whenever we decide to go on for the weekly show next week, you'll get that notification. I may be on Sunday for a recap. I'll see. I'll play it by air. All right. Until next time.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?